Wow, look, they actually have snow on Superstition Mountain. Must have got cold up there. We are still camping here in the same spot. It's been nice, but this is the second rainstorm that we've gotten. The one before this was 2 days. This one was only a 1-day event. Gets pretty nasty, but it dries up fairly quickly.
Easy does it. Take a look at just how far you've come. Soak in enjoyment. Take a breath and rest while stress falls off.
So there's a few new parts that we've got. We've got the Bluetooth dongle, that's a funny word, dongle, for the inverter. So that way I can do it on my phone, on an app. And then we're going to replace that 20 amp with this 50 amp one, because the 20 amp is right there. It's producing right at the power, so it's getting a little too warm. So we're going to switch it out for the 50.
Don't you hate it whenever you're like recording stuff and like people come in and interrupt you?
No, you're the one that's going to put in the dongle.
Yeah. Oh, what was that called again?
Dongle.
Dongle.
Yeah, so there's a wire here that he's got to connect to the positive and negative, and then the other one is just the cable. So
it's a V-bus.
Yeah, so it'll be easy to do.
Yeah, see how it whoever did this crammed everything together.
Yeah, I need to get like, what is it? What do they call this? The bus
Which
bars?
Is me, by the way. Yeah, you do.
I need to get a bus bar for that, so it'll be easier.
Bars.
Like, I could put the bus bar right along here, and then that way it wouldn't be so crammed. He's got the negative hooked up. Now he's just doing the positive side.
Yeah. I'm not Donnie. I don't do things super fast. There's a black one somewhere. Do you see the black one?
Black one what?
Or red one, I mean. Okay,
Yeah, right there.
You go. Whoa!
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, we're not going to do that too much. You might need a new wire now. We'll see.
No. You mean a new fuse? It should have a fuse on it.
It was just for a second. I mean, this is such a small wire. If it contacted more than that, it would just melt the wire.
Yeah. It wasn't on long enough to do all that.
Alright, let that be a lesson to anybody watching.
Tape off your ends.
Yep. Or at least hook them up to something so they're not.
What's
just
that
hanging
long
around.
cable for there?
Which one?
The one by your hand.
That is the temperature and power sense for the multi-plus.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one that does matter. Remember you said you wanted, that you thought we were supposed to run to the main?
This is it. Why is that off?
There's a reason. I think at the time I was just like, it was too hard to hook things up, so I just didn't hook it up.
Dongle time.
And this, I guess you can use your phone to turn it on and off and everything too.
Oh, in the app?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
cool.
you don't need to reach that.
That's why we decided to do
You mean turn off the inverter?
Yeah.
You can turn it on to charge only mode. Or...
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's got a physical switch, but you don't have to use it anymore.
Okay.
And I don't think you can connect it to the cloud yet. You'd have to get the other thing to do that.
Okay, that's fine. I don't need to do all that.
Why not?
It's just
Because you're
another
not a
thing
nerd, is that why?
Yeah, not everybody is a nerdy nerd like you. It's just another thing to worry about.
Alright, you should be able to see it with your phone now.
Okay. Is it on the Victron, the same Victron app?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, I'll check
I think you have. Yeah, it's.
Oh, don't you have to plug in the
Oh yeah, I'm gonna do that, but I mean, you
cap.
can see the dongle, but it won't
Cable.
it won't see the multi-plus yet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is just a VE bus dongle.
Okay.
And here's the wire that we used to plug into my dongle. Because I don't even have a Bluetooth thingy. I'm not all high tech like you. Oh shit, this is not the right.
It's not connected.
Well, this isn't.
No,
the
no,
right
it's the
one.
gray one back here.
This is one for.
Yeah, see that one back there, the gray? No, you had it right there. Yep.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not easy to get to. Hopefully, it's still plugged in.
It should be. I didn't unplug it. You just have to find the loose end. There it is.
And then we'll run it through here, plug it back into here.
And then through that. Through the rabbit hole to get to...
Didn't leave a hole for it? What? Yeah, I guess I
Is there
drilled two
room?
individual holes. Oh, okay, here we go. I found it.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, that's cool. Finding the hole, half the battle.
Got it?
Yep.
Plug it into the dongle, and then I'll get the app. Okay, we're adding the dongle now, but it has to update first, since it's new. He's got it working, and I can now turn it on and off. We'll cut that off, hit OK. And that turns the inverter off, so I don't even have to reach down there awkwardly and turn that off. Thank you, Jason.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, and then also, let's turn it back on. Turn the inverter on. There it goes. It's working now, and now it'll give me details about how much voltage I'm using or current at the time and how much I have used. Change out this one. That's the 20 amp. That's too small. We're going to put the 50. It's as big as this one is.
The place that only has 15 amp
Yeah.
shore power, you can limit it to only use 15 amps.
Oh, just in case you're not plugged into a 30 amp service.
Yeah, and for example, Bruce was loaning us his generator one time whenever we were in trees, and it's only 15 amps, so I told it just to use 15 amps.
Oh, I see.
So that's pretty handy.
Oh,
and
you
then,
can just limit that there.
And you can still use more than 30 amps, but
Right.
the rest will come from the batteries.
I get it, yeah.
Yeah, and then I haven't used this app before, but you should be able to change all the parameters on it. I've just got to go through it and figure it out, because I don't use the app for mine. I use like a Cerberus.
Right, yeah, that's what you did with mine at first.
Mhm.
All right, let's check the AC. I'm not plugged into shore power, so the AC input is 0 across the board. And then the AC output is 120 volts, 0.75 amps, and 14 watts. The reason why there's a draw there is because I have the inverter on, and I do have other electronics on, but they're not in use. They just have a draw, like the microwave and the hot pot and stuff like that that are just plugged in. So, but if I'm not using it, I can always just turn the inverter on or off. Let's see. So, I can cut that off because I'm not using it right now. There it goes. So we can check the details. Now it's 0 across the board and 0 across the board. Awesome. This is going to be amazing because it's annoying to have to reach down there and cut it on and off because it's back there underneath my table. So I have to duck down and then reach back there to flip the switch. So this will make it easier. This shouldn't take that long, so I'm going to go ahead and switch this one out. So Jeff bought 50 feet of wire. It's 25 each, 25 of negative and 25 of positive. Because the wire we got on there now is clipped together with 3 different, it's just a mess. So this one will be one straight shot from the panels to the charge controller. Actually, there's 4 connectors. We've got 2 Andersons on this line. And then also, I think this is he said the SAE. And then there's the pin connector, the barrel pin connector. So that's way too much. We're just gonna make one straight long cable. This is an actual 20, and those solar panels produce more than that, so I'm glad to get this off because this was getting hot. It's right there at the cusp. That one's off, and this is the monster that we're gonna install, the 50. So this should be plug and play, fairly easy. I'm just gonna use the old screws. I just have to re-drill this one since this is a bigger unit, and then hook up the positive and then the negative. Then put in the PV. So the smaller one, it's weird. These larger ones, they don't have the load. They just have the battery and the PV, which is odd. The smaller one had the load. So, okay. I'll get that done. Got it? Okay. Well, we have it installed. And he just plugged in the solar. So it is doing the 40 volts. It's going to take a second. There it goes, 24 watts, 32. All right. Oh, 183, 230. Perfect. It's been several days and we ordered some parts that we had to wait to come into an Amazon locker. Let me show you some of the parts that we got. So we needed another breaker, and I'm going to use the 30 amp breaker on the solar panel sides because those will never produce more than 30 amps. But the charge controller can produce up to 50 amps, which it won't, but I want it to be rated the same as the charge controller, which this one is. It's a 50 amp breaker. We also got the bus bars that Jason and I were talking about earlier, because I want to get these hooked up so it's not all clumped up on the positive and the negative. It's just a mess. This will clean things up. And also we did get some bigger Anderson connectors, and this is for an easy disconnect if I need to put that in the system. So they'll be able to just unplug and disconnect. And they're definitely much heavier duty than, or more heavier duty than the ones that are on there now. I just want to do a quick overview up close. What we're going to end up doing is taking this 50 and putting it right here, because this will be for the charge controller, what goes to the batteries. And then we'll take this 30 and put it up here, and then the PV positive will go into the 30 there. Like I said, the solar panels won't produce more than 30 amps, so this is sufficient, but the charge controller could produce up to 50, depending. First things first, I'm going to go ahead and cut off this breaker. There we go. And let's go ahead and disconnect the, oops, gotta flip that, wait. I'm gonna replace this with the 50. Since the wires are already going here, it's easier to move the breaker than it is the wires. Okay. Okay. That's the old breaker out. Now we're gonna place the new breaker in.
Is that the same size nut?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Maybe it's not. These are not American standard. These are actually foreign. They're metric. So we had to switch out the ratchet to tighten it down. All right, last one on. We're just gonna get it tightened down. That should be good.
Disconnected the positive MC4.
Okay, cool. So the panels have been disconnected. I'm gonna go ahead and remove this so I can work on it now. Okay, there we go. I have to cut a section of this wire, so I'll have a little slip that goes from here to here. Now to get this one installed in the solar. Alright, breaker is mounted. Now I just gotta go ahead and mess with the wires. We've got both ring terminals on. So I've just got to do the heat shrink. Okay, that one's done. Oh, watch, my fingers is kind of short.
You gotta cock it again. That's a little blue lever underneath. Push it to
Oh,
the
I
left.
see it. Okay, that one's done. And now I'm going to put this ring terminal on. There's that one. Oh, let me actually stick this in here first. It's kind of an awkward position there. Alright, gonna tighten the positive one down all the way. There we go. Now the bottom. Alright. And then Jeff had suggested bending this here, and it fits into this much better. And I've already got this one marked. I just gotta cut this and then strip the wire. We'll be ready to go. Okay. Alright, negative in. Alright. I think we are good. Okay. Don't over tighten. Alright, everything's good. Battery to charge controller on first. There it goes. Give it a second. And then now we're gonna do solar panels. Alright, got all this done. Now for the bus bars. Achoo! It is time to try to install the bus bars. So I've cut off all the power and the DC switch. Now I've got my work light on. I think the first thing that we have to do is disconnect there, and in between is where the bus bar will go for the negative side. So luckily we had a joint there, so now we can just put the bus bar in between. And I found an extra black cable that I'm going to use for here to there, and I'll take this red one and put it on the positive where it should actually be. We're gonna take apart the negative. Oh, look at that jumble of mess there.
Are you sure you don't hold it and I turn?
You turn. That's what I say. Yeah, you turn, not me. I'm holding it. Okay, there you go. I feel it loosening up. Awesome. So excited to get this done. Is it hard to work in there? Okay.
Your nut should be completely coming off, right?
Yeah, I'm just... Okay, it's off. Alright, we got it. The only thing that we were unsure about is these ring terminals fitting these, because this is much larger, and they all do, so we're good to go.
These are bigger than that.
Yeah, that one's huge.
Yeah.
We couldn't find the end to the electrical tape, so Jeff is taking a razor blade and he's just going to cut it off. I have to cut it a little bit more. There you go. Okay, now we're taking these two wires apart. We had to put the inverter on first because it's the shortest cable. We had to know where to place this. Now we've got it on. Okay. And then we're going to put the battery cable towards the center on the other side of the inverter. So they're right by each other. Which is right here. That's going to go there. Alright, the battery is on. The inverter is right next to it. Just gonna tighten down now. Let me hold this one, tighten that one down too. Is that good? Okay, there was something that changed about the layout. And the reason why is because we wanted to put the inverter and the battery on the same bolt. That way it doesn't have to go through the bus bar. This is how we have it laid out. This is the inverter and the battery on one. The next is the coach. These two are the charge controllers. And then the DC is on the last one over here. These are just for DC plugs. That's it. We haven't hooked up the battery yet because we still need to do the positive side. That's the cap that goes on. Awesome. This is exactly why I want to get this octopus taken care of, because it's hard to even get into the positive side of this battery terminal.
I don't want to get
think you're fine. There's no negative over here.
I know, but that's
And nothing is on.
just a shunt.
Yeah. Okay, we just had to disconnect this positive side. This is where he had temporarily put the dongle, just so it had a positive and negative. He didn't want to mess with having to unhook the other because it was such a jungle over there. So we got that hooked up, and then the DC plugs hooked up there. This was a mess to hook back up because these are really hard to reroute. We ended up having to move the shunt over here and then the bus bar over here because the way the wires were, some of these wires are really thick and tough to finagle. So this worked better over here and the shunt worked better over there. So now all I have to do is get these bolts tightened down, and then we're just going to hook up the negative and the system should be done. Okay. Let there be light. Yay. No, not heater. We don't need the heater. Stop. Oh my God. The positive side was so complicated. That was the one that had to be redone the most, and the placement. So that's why it was so complicated. I'm exhausted and leaning over, my back hurts. Okay, it's all in there. The only thing we don't have on is the cover. I have to rework the cover, and then we'll put it on there. But here's the shunt, which was moved. And there's the positive, which I think Jeff is going to cut it real quick to fit. And then there is the negative. And no more tangle of wires on the negative and positive. Didn't cut. So he cut a little notch there. And it should fit on now.
There.
Perfect. It is all done. So I've got to put this bench back together and clean up the tools, and we'll be done.